Ladies and gentlemen, nerds and nerdettes, this is Istanbul, the first top 100 rated board game coming to Switch. Now, what you're looking in the background is our, work in progress, of course, build that we will be releasing on your Nintendo Switch device in the foreseeable future. Now, if you've never heard of Istanbul, or Istanbul Digital Edition as ours will be called, it's basically a board game, a fun favorite one, about resource management, route planning, thinking ahead. There's little luck involved. There is some, but it's a choice, not a prerequisite. Now, in order to win the game, you have to score or gather a certain amount of rubies being basically a victory point. The way you can do that are multiple. You can trade resources for it, you can unlock, let's say, achievements, so upgrades that eventually will grant you rubies. You can just outright buy them at the end, regardless of which route you will choose. The first one to collect 5, usually, can vary, shall win the game. Now, why would you even play a board game on your, mobile device? That's an excellent question, but we do have an answer. First and foremost, digital format overall can give you solutions or features that physical copy simply won't. We can run, and we do run, of course, all of the background calculations, so you don't have to. You do not have any setup time, of course. You can enjoy multiplayer, both synchronous and asynchronous, meaning either you all play at the same time or everybody just take their turns wherever they have time to do so. Lastly, but not least, of course, PvE, sort of. So you can play against the AI, and I will tell you, our AI is quite tricky. Now, what you have on your screen is me being Ratchet, the one in the green, playing against easy, medium, and hard AI. Basically just to show you that we have huge variety, and honestly, my win rate against medium and high is not that great. Now, I'm not the best players in board games overall, but I do use brain a couple of times. They beat me quite a lot, and they beat me quite often, so if you like the challenge, that will not disappoint, honestly, which I think is the best. Now, you can see that the controls are basically already fully implemented. I am here using Nintendo Switch, of course. Right now I'm trying to figure out what to click and what not to click. It's been a while since I've used Nintendo Switch, but I'm picking up as I go quite quickly. We are adding several features actually to the Switch version, including the fully animated animations for the tiles. Several are, just like you. So you could see a bit of the movement of players. Some of them are fully implemented, some of them are still work in progress. Do bear in mind this is early build. It's not even beta test ready yet, but it works already, so that's cool. That's great. Now, yes, I'm buying my first ruby with just lira. This is one of the strategies you can go. You can just try and farm as many coins, so lira, so coins, currency, as you can, and just try and outbuy the opponents. Numerous times in this match, I will just go to the tea house, when you can basically gamble your way into money. You pick the number of how many coins you think you will get, and if you match that number or higher, you will get as many. If you don't, you just get 2, so you always will get something out of the game. Of course, a good idea for this strategy, which I didn't do, is go to one of the mosques and purchase the upgrade that will allow you a reroll of of both die, or just changing the result of 1 die into 4, but I didn't. But you live and you learn. Now I'm trying to figure out what to do because I'm a bit lost. Now you can, what you can see in there is the icon of myself. Yeah, there we go. And every time I go into a tile, and now I'm getting some herbs, buying some herbs, basically just filling my cart to the maximum. Every time you go to a tile, you will leave an assistant there in order to do anything on that tile, to interact with the tile. Now you can either leave an assistant or pick up the one that you left there previously. Either way it will work, but you need an assistant, an interaction with an assistant, so that little token of your color somewhere, in order to even interact with a tile. Then you have also the range, how far you can move. It's 2 tiles per turn. Hence you have to plan your routes accordingly. Now this game, as far as I remember, I got a little bit lost, so I tended to just try and gamble my way into victory, into purchasing as many lira as possible, rubies as possible. Now, of course, lira, the currency you can use for more than just one thing. You can also upgrade your cart, meaning increase the capacity of how many resources or goods you can store. You start basically with 2, you can upgrade up to 5, which is necessary because certain buildings or items or interactions, so to speak, will require you to have more than just the basic 2. For example, in this match so far, I cannot even purchase the mosque upgrade that would allow me the reroll that I would really need, actually, because in order to do so, I need to have available for me 3 textiles, and I only can have 2. Now, I would pay only 1 for it, but I need to have available for me 3, so you know that's difficult. Now I'm going to the large market to trade certain resources for coin, because as you can see I'm going heavily on coin, strategy which will end up biting me in the bum, but it doesn't mean it cannot work. I have won like this previously, and just, you know, the implementation was pretty bad on my part this time. Now the red went to the fountain. You can always do that whenever you're out of assistants. You can just go to the fountain and just recall all of them. You're effectively kind of wasting your turn, but not necessarily, because there can be 2 neutral kind of, let's call them minions or assistants, that will allow you an interaction, gain something. Now what you've seen right now is I have met it's called a relative of one of my opponents, which is basically a criminal or an outlaw that they can, well, every player actually can just send somewhere to do their tasks for them. The drawback being that whenever an opposing player will get into the tile with said family member, they can get something out of it. Now you can see me back gambling for coin. I have lost on 6, a bit unlucky. The average on 2 die is 7, but oh well. Now I'm getting the this is the another thing you have access to, which are special cards, bonus cards that you can take advantage of in certain situations, depending on the card, of course. I'm not gonna be using them quite yet, but they are always there, and they are the one secret part of this game. Your opponents will never know which cards you have, so you can always have an ace up your sleeve, which is quite handy, quite often actually. Now again, I'm trying to figure out what can I possibly do, and I end up going to the gemstone dealer again, paying 18 lira, sorry, for the second ruby, and before that I had to pay 2 lira to the red player because I went to a tile which they already occupied. It's a mechanic to kind of dissuade people from going all to the one tile, making, you know, route planning a little bit more tricky than it already actually kind of was. Now you can see that I'm I'm a little bit confused and a little bit overwhelmed. I'm running out of assistance. I'm just getting 1 herb for some reason. I kind of lost my way over there. I'm probably just planning to go back to the tea house to gamble a little bit more, but what you have seen over there is me picking up an assistant that I've actually left previously to still be able to interact with the tile, which is if you plan your roads really well, which I kind of stumble on in this playthrough, let's say, in this game, you can just never visit Fountain, you can just do all of the things as you have planned, hopefully. Now, this is the interaction with the Governor. The Governor is basically a neutral minion that will do certain things if you interact with them. Yes, now I'm thinking what to do. I'm taking a card, a bonus card that I will have to pay 2 lira for. You know, it's a bonus one. Which I have 3 of those in this match. I don't think I ever use any, which is unfortunate, but they can actually win you the game. I believe you can get 3 rubies in one move if you have right combination of cards and resources. Now I'm going back to the fountain because I cannot really do anything. I'm recalling all of the assistants. It's effectively a waste of turn, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad move. Sometimes it's actually quite beneficial. It happens that both the Governor and the other neutral, somebody's, for example, relative or somebody, will be there, and you get two interactions with neutral moving minions, let's say, from the game. And also you get to recall your assistant, so it can be quite helpful actually. Now going to Black Market, where I can get a resource and gamble for another unique resource, which is jewelry. And hopefully, yes, this time I rolled an 8, so I got 1 piece of jewelry. You can get a little bit more. I tend to play on the gambling tiles. I like the random element of games, but you can absolutely and completely play this game and win this game without ever visiting either of those two. It's just my personal preference. I like dice rolling, so that would be that. Now I'm trying to figure out what to do with my game. I already see that I am in trouble, so I'm just getting textiles, possibly for trade, but also probably just trying to get to a spot where I can do something from, following my plans of just buying the world, which, well, they do not go very well. So I'm going to the police station where my criminal relative actually is. I'm releasing them, and I could send them somewhere, like anywhere on the map, to interact for me. This is one of the reasons, or one of the ways to get around the limited amount of tiles you can go in one turn. You can just visit the prison and send your relative on the mission. The drawback again being that opponent can just interact with them, and then I lost because oh well. But hopefully you can see how this game works and plays out. Hopefully you can see the strategic element of that, and also the fast-paced. It's not been long, but it's still fun. So yeah, take care.